and I was recently at an interfaith iftar dinner, and the pastor, he said something interesting. He said, whenever I go to interfaith events, there's so much focus on our similarities, how we're the same, and how everybody has the same message of peace and harmony and kindness. And he said, that is all well and good, but let's not ignore the differences. There are differences. And if we ignore the differences, then we will not learn how to coexist peacefully despite our differences. And so that kind of resonated with me. And I said, yes, he is right that we are not exactly the same. We do have our own differences, our cultural differences sometimes, and our religious differences that we follow and try to raise our kids with. And it's okay. And that's perfectly fine. And that it's okay to coexist peacefully and respect each other despite those differences. And I think those differences are beautiful in many ways. We get to learn from each other, from the traditions of the, like you said, Abrahamic faiths of Judaism and Christianity and Islam. You get to learn so many different things from each faith. And Sikhism, like I was at a Sikh event recently where they were teaching about the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev, and I was blown away, honestly blown away by those messages as well. So thank you for sharing that, Fauzia. Thank you for sharing that, Mifrah. And so I'm gonna come back to the question that I asked initially. Through the fasting, Muslims in the community, of course, try to achieve a lot of goals. And that includes losing weight, of course. But I'm going to be really upfront and real about this. But, let's look at the bigger picture and what are we trying to achieve through our fast? So if within a minute or two, both of you can just give me a few goals and some personal goals too, that would be great. We'll start with Fauzia.
Okay, great. I think as a Muslim, I've talked about this a lot of times, that for me, the connection to God through God's people is the most important thing. Being able to serve, being able to, it's not even about service. It's about, I don't hurt someone with my tongue, of course not with my hands as well, but basically I don't think I'll be resorting to violence anytime soon, but with tongue especially. And that is very, very important for me, that I'm not doing anything that is harmful for anyone in any way. And I would say in Ramadan, it actually becomes even more prominent for me. I'm always watching what I say or what I don't say. And that's the most important thing for me. Of course, there is more focus on prayers and more focus on du'as, which is supplications, and Quran and that sort of stuff, and family and food and all of that is beautiful. Also, after COVID, now we are able to meet in person. So tomorrow I will be going to my first community iftar, and I'm quite excited about that. And then on Sunday we have another iftar to go to, and I'm very, very excited about that, because this piece about community and coming together is also a big piece of Ramadan.
Wonderful. What about you, Mifrah?
Well, I'll echo what Fauzia just said. And I go back to the verse in the Quran that says that fasting has been prescribed so that you learn God consciousness, that you learn piety, that you basically be conscious of the actions that you do. And I think that's my personal goal, is that every Ramadan, we want to turn out a better person. I think of Ramadan as like a boot camp for the whole year. Then we have to control our tongue, control our thoughts, just basically abstain from the ego, abstain from the evil within us, and just conquer it again and again and again. So I always tell my kids it's a boot camp, and you really have to go the extra mile so that we are used to doing at least part of that throughout the year. So charity and kindness and sharing, and just as Fauzia mentioned, making sure that people are not harmed through our actions, of course, but also our words, our intentions. So all of that, that is what Ramadan means for me on a personal level.
And a lot of food.
I was going to speak about food quickly, because having had the privilege of spent some time in Malaysia, where a lot of my community was Muslim, and I remember how much food, there was an open house policy that regardless of your background, whether you were Hindu or Sikh or Christian, everyone was welcome during like once it was time to break fast and to celebrate. And so I'm thinking and salivating about the food I know you're all going to be enjoying in your iftars. And I just want to thank you both for really taking the time to explain for our viewers a little bit about what Ramadan means, what this community celebration is, because I think when we can, I think about the purpose of our show, Diverse Perspectives, people fear what they don't understand. And when we can create those bridges and opportunities from a place of love and community building, spaces to learn, and also invite folks to take responsibility for their own learning. So by all means, if you have any suggestions for resources that our viewers can go to learn more about Ramadan and the practice of Islam, that's welcome as well.